United.
Hello, people. It's your boss man back again with another show. I'm just there looking at my notes. Listen, people. Let's go. It's good to be back. Hopefully, you guys haven't missed me too much. I've just been away, to be honest. If you follow me on my socials, in particular TikTok, yes, I know TikTok. I uploaded a video on there as well, so I started to do a lot more content on other platforms as well. So make sure if you haven't, please do follow me, Usman Talks Tonight on Twitter and TikTok in particular. But yeah, basically I've been away at Old Trafford actually. I've been doing a bit of work there. I was on a course, long story short. So obviously, you know, I had an opportunity to interview an ex-Champions League winner, former Manchester United player. So that was a fantastic experience. Like I said, that video is on TikTok. If you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to do so. But anyways, as you can see from the title, your boy is back on YouTube. It's good to be back. Slap a like, subscribe to the channel. Solo show, as always. You love to see it. The energy is high. You know, the passion is there. And we are going to delve into every single hot topic that is currently surrounding Manchester. And of course, the title says it all. Manchester United issues at the moment are far and few between. Marcus Rashford's in the headlights, Greenwood, Ronaldo. We're going to be covering it all, and of course we'll be looking ahead to tomorrow's Aston Villa game, which of course we'll be doing a live commentary, mixing up as always with the content, but keeping consistent. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure if you have a free to subscribe to the channel. We're literally 8 away from 1.3, so I would appreciate if you're watching this on repeat and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. But listen, let's get into it. I'm going to get straight into I'm going to sink my teeth straight into the nitty-gritty of the current scenarios. We're going to start with Greenwood first, actually. So Mason Greenwood, a lot of people are talking about Mason Greenwood off the back of the performance from the other night. Actually, let's actually go through the performance against Aston Villa. We did actually beat them. I haven't done a match. I just remembered. We beat them 1-0, far from a convincing performance. Let's be real. Very disappointing for Manchester United. We did actually change the system. We went to a 4-2-3-1, which is something Ranić has not done. Kind of went back to basics. Kind of went back to a familiar setting for the players. Scrapped the 4-2-2 from his perspective. But it's interesting to see, as a Manchester United fan, a new manager coming in, and not much has changed to the extent. In particular, in the football is still a dire straits, to be quite frankly honest with you. The football hasn't really improved massively, if anything at all. The selection, sometimes I've led to scratching my head, sometimes I'm happy. Overall, it hasn't really had the desired effects to change for me personally. I thought, and I was expected to see a lot more from the players, in particular with the performances. I think, for me, the performance has been nowhere near good enough. The standard of football is just not really improved. It's still like Ollie's at charge. If Ollie was still there, I wouldn't be surprised if someone was saying to me, "You're watching Ollie ball," and I would accept it, because what's the real difference? And we still get dominated at home, and a lot of that has to, be questioned. Some of which is the manager's fault with the team section, the way we set up, etc. And some of it is the players. The players need to start taking accountability. They're the only constant alongside the Glazers, but it's always Glazers out. We know that. But the players need to start taking accountability for their performances. Individuals have been nowhere near good enough compared to what they have set for themselves in terms of the bar. And they've been well below the bar. So for me, it's massively disappointing. I'm just a bit underwhelmed, to be quite frankly honest with you. It's difficult to watch Manchester United at the moment. It's becoming a chore, to be quite frankly honest with you. And at the end of the day, you want to be watching your team with a bit of joy, with a bit of optimism, and we have none of that. We've not had any of that for the entire season. Like, bar the Leeds game, we've not really played well in any game this season, and that's the major thing for me. I want to start to see good football. Of course, the results are most important, especially in the back end of the season. It's all about the results. But I want to see Manchester United entertain me. That's not the bare minimum as a football fan, to go to a game or watch a game at home and feel like you have a bit of excitement, have a bit of enjoyment. You're going to get out of your seat. There's going to be moments in the game that have you out of your seat. And we don't see that enough. Okay, I don't want to be moments FC, but we don't have sustained periods of attack where you can really say, okay, Manchester United are actually putting the ownership of the game onto the opposition, and that doesn't happen enough for me. It's massively disappointing. It's something I'm not seeing enough of under Ranić, which is the biggest disappointment so far. But yeah, regarding the game itself, we got through. It's a cup game. That's the most important thing. However, we do have them tomorrow, which I'm going to touch upon very shortly. So we'll get into what we're going to see different going into that one. But let's go to Mason Greenwood. Of course, a lot of people are speculating about Mason Greenwood. Is he too greedy? That is the quote. That is the sort of quote unquote thing that is currently going around Twitter. I mean, Twitter is a funny place, isn't it? One person can say one thing, and then everybody latches onto it, and everybody starts using it. I don't know when this Mason Greenwood is greedy agenda started from. But me personally, I've said this consistently. He needs to make better decisions. I do think sometimes he does overdo it and he does try to take too many shots. However, off the back of the Wolves game, sorry, the Aston Villa game, apologies. But off the back of the Aston Villa game, and I've seen a lot of people say he's greedy. I mean, he took 3 shots here, all very similar. He coordinated his effort and he shot all 3 very same efforts. And maybe there was a better option. Maybe there was another option that he could have hit a reverse pass and potentially played someone in. I'll have to watch them back to actually give you a full breakdown on that. But for me personally, to suggest a young lad who's a striker by trade is greedy because he took 3 shots from the edge of the box, you know, a position where he has scored many goals for us. It's not this season, but the seasons prior, maybe a couple of this season as well. It's just ludicrous to me. What, do you not want your players to shoot from the edge of the box all of a sudden? Is that something that we are saying? You know, 1 second, oh, players aren't taking enough shots. Next minute, you know, they're greedy. I mean, for me personally, it's somewhere in between because there are cases that he is overdoing it. I think it was the Wolves game. He should have played a pass and he didn't. He shot. But there are cases that he's a bit too selfish. But he's a striker by trade. That's in his DNA. Every striker is greedy. Most top strikers are greedy. They tend to look for, you know, their eyes are focused on the goal. They're trying to score first and foremost. That is always, you know, their first priority prior to passing. Van Persie, someone that Greenwood has been compared to a lot of the times. He gets the ball at his feet, takes a shot, gets a sight and goal, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that as a striker. You know, he's playing on the right wing, potentially needs to adapt his game to an extent and start playing, playing more with the team, you could say. But for me, personally, I have no qualms with him shooting at edge of the box. You know, I have more than enough belief in his ability to potentially score from that distance. So for me, I think people need to just, you know, relax a bit. I think people are being too critical of him. He's only 20. I mean, he still needs to learn a lot about his game. He's playing in a position that's not familiar to him. You've got to bear that in mind as well. He's playing like a striker on the right wing at the moment, and I understand why that would frustrate people. But like I said, he's got the capabilities of scoring from that distance. He's shown us time and time again. So I have no qualms with him shooting from there. If anything, I would encourage it. I would encourage him getting the ball out of his feet, taking a shot, because I believe in his ability to score from there. So for me, I think people have been too critical. Of course, there's cases that he might have been too greedy. He probably should have passed it. Probably should have slipped it into someone on the wing. But that's going to be the case with every player. You know, Ronaldo's greedy as well. I mean, and people will say, well, that's the issue. You've got too many selfish players in the team. And maybe that is a problem. You know, maybe that is something that we have too much of in the team. Bruno Fernandes is similar to an extent. He likes to shoot a lot as well. Although he's a bit more creative than the other two that I previously mentioned. Marcus Rashford, to an extent, gets his head down, runs into dark alleys. He could be classed as greedy as well. So, you know, there's a case that potentially all 3 of them are greedy and they don't complement each other. I'm not denying that, but the notion that Mason Greenwood, a 20-year-old striker playing on the right wing, is too greedy it's just funny because he's a striker. That's what you expect. I mean, he's not a right winger. Jadon Sancho, if Jadon Sancho's playing the right wing, I can assure you that is not happening because he's a right winger and his first instinct is to be a creative player. Greenwood's first instinct is to get the ball at his feet and shoot. So that is the difference. That is where the disparity between the two is. At the end of the day, you expect something from a striker playing the right wing. At the end of the day, we're playing with 3 strikers. I agree, Rashford is a striker as well. So for me, I just think people need to, you know, bear that in mind as well. And plus his age. I mean, he's still developing. But what happened to this? Oh, he's young. Like, I don't want to use that as an excuse, but at the same time, it is an excuse. You know, he's going to make wrong decisions. He has to learn. And he will learn because he's got the capabilities of going to the right, to the top. So for me, people need to chill out. I'm seeing people get on Greenwood's back as well. I mean, just shut up, man. If he goes and does that again tomorrow against Aston Villa and puts one to the top corner, everyone's going to be like, oh, my young star boy, blah, blah, blah. Just shut up. You are right that Greenwood should be like that. Absolutely, bro, man. Why would I want my striker not to shoot? At the end of the day, that's what he's been brought up. But let's get some questions in. 8 subscribers away from 1.3K. Let's do this today's live podcast. Listen, I would appreciate it massive if you haven't subscribed and you're watching this. If you can subscribe, interesting topics tonight. Keep your comments in, get your thoughts in regarding anything that I discussed. If you disagree, agree, etc., all that good stuff, please let a brother know. Obviously, this show has come about very last minute, so I expect a lot of you will be watching it back on repeat. If you do watch this video, so please do slap a like on the video. Get your comments and I will read them, obviously, off the back of the show. But listen, let's get on to the next topic, which, of course, is the title of the video, alongside Ronaldo stuff. Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is a broken man. Look, I was very opinionated on this on Twitter, to be quite honest with you. I was very opinionated on this. And I don't think my opinion was very popular, and that's completely fine. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. Again, everyone's entitled to opinion. You don't have to agree on the next bit that I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it because this is my thoughts on the matter. So, of course, first and foremost, Marcus Rashford dropped an absolute stinker again. There was many occasions in that game that I was massive disappointed with the desire, his willingness off the ball to be a winning runner. There was an occasion that everyone obviously is sort of fixating on, and rightfully so. Moment when Greenwood shoots and Rashford doesn't follow up and doesn't get the rebound, he probably wouldn't have got there. But as a striker, you've got to be going for that. And at the end of the day, you can't turn your back on it. That was absolutely disgraceful, and it's inexcusable, to be quite frank honest with you. But for me personally, Ram, and let me just make it clear. I defend every single one of our players for the same reasons. You know, Martial, I've defended him. Pogba, I've defended him. Now I'm going to defend Rashford as well for the similar reason. I think people need to chill out a bit with the Rashford abuse on social media. I mean, abuse is never okay, firstly. But people need to chill out in general with the Rashford slander. Because I just personally think Marcus Rashford is currently at his worst position in his Manchester United career. You know, on the pitch, his performances have been nowhere near good enough. He's suffering a lot from that mentally. It's quite evident in his body language. That picture that's doing the rounds on social media. He's a broken man. He's a man at the bottom. He's a man mentally finished, for me personally. I think he's mentally struggling. And again, people say you can't claim that. You don't know that. When I say that, I'm talking about his body language, the things. I'm talking about football perspective. Mentally, he's got, he's not with it. He's got no confidence whatsoever. He's at rock bottom. And for me, a man of principle, but not seriously, for me personally, I don't want to be that guy that kicks someone who's at their lowest. I don't want to be that guy that kicks a man that's already down. Rashford, for me, you know, he gives me the impression of someone that's very self-aware, in the sense that he's very aware of his performances. He's very aware when he's not playing well. He's aware when he is playing well, etc., etc. You know, the essays, you know, Rashford puts out essays frequently, sometimes to apologize, sometimes to say good things, whatever it may be, and he gets slandered. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. That is Marcus Rashford in a nutshell, as it currently stands. If he puts out a post saying, you know, I apologize for my lack of good performances, you know, people will get onto him. If he doesn't put out a post, people are getting onto him. And the issue with Rashford for me at the moment is he needs to get out of the spotlight, because at the moment, the spotlight is shining bright on him as it's done on Martial and Pogba in previous years, and he can't hack it. He's in an unfamiliar territory, somewhere he's not really been prior to, you know, this season. You know, he's always been the poster boy. He's always been the guy, you know, he's done so much for the community away from football, and he's been loved for that, and rightfully so. And he's been rewarded for that with the MBE. But he's in an unfamiliar territory. As I said, he's in a position now that is becoming public enemy number one. A lot of it is down to performances, of course. A lot of Man United fans have lost patience with the guy. You know, a lot of people are asking for him to be sold. People have completely lost faith in his ability, and I ain't one of those people. I'm not saying he's a world beater, and I'm not saying that he should be starting week in, week out, especially at the moment. He definitely shouldn't be. But what I'm saying is people need to cut him a bit slack, not because, oh, you're not allowed to criticize people. You by all means criticize them, but at the same time, it's quite clear that he knows himself. He's come out on numerous occasions saying my performance has not been good enough. He literally posted something on Twitter 1 week ago saying my performance has not been good enough. Then he dropped that absolute stinker. So rest assured, Rashford is well aware of the fact that he's nowhere near good enough as it currently stands. I just think it doesn't do any good for him. At the end of the day, you know, we're all human beings. You know, mentally, he looks like he's struggling. On the football pitch, he's clearly struggling, and he needs our support. He's one of our own. Similar to how Martial and Pogba need our support. A lot of people saying, you know, Martial and Pogba got abused. what does that mean? It's okay to abuse Rashford? Two wrongs do not make it right. At the end of the day, if people are abusing Rashford, that's up to them. But don't say, oh, well, I'm not going to give sympathy to Rashford because you didn't give sympathy to Martin Pogba. Of course, that doesn't apply to me because I always back my players. But for me, people need to chill the fuck out a bit with the Rashford thing. You know, cut him some slack. He's a young lad. He's one of our own. You know, he's done so well last season. You know, he flipping sacrificed his own well-being for the good of the club. The guy wants, you know, the club to be well. You know, he's a football fan like us. At the end of the day, I can assure you he's trying to do everything in the best of his ability and power to actually perform on the pitch, man. The guy's a football fan. You know, you can tell he's eating him up inside. Like I said, he looks a broken man for me, and it's sad to see. At the end of the day, you know, he had such a good season last season. In terms of statistically, the performance for me weren't particularly good last season. And the season before, statistically, he was good, and he was actually playing well. But the point being is, people need to just chill out, man. You know, it's good. You know, every sort of cloud has a silver lining, and every, you know, dark day will pass. You know, every storm passes. You know, sometimes you know, you're in the eye of the storm, and it looks like it's never going to end. Sometimes you just need that helping hand. And I'm not saying that, you know, oh, people don't criticize him. But what I'm saying is, sometimes when you're at your lowest, you need that helping hand. You don't need people to kick you down when you're already down. And that's not something I've ever stood for. I'm never going to kick people when they're already down. Rashford, Pogba, Bruno, whoever it may be, they're at the lowest, bro. We don't need to kick him. He knows. He's taking accountability for that. He's in the eye of the storm, and he needs our support. He's one of our own. The guy's been through everything for this club last season, bro. He literally sacrificed his body. Man was playing with injuries after injuries just to play for Manchester United Football Club. The guy loves the club. He's not a random player that has come for a paycheck. This guy's giving us everything for the club, and he's only 24. Man, he's done so much for the club, and it's very sad to see how people are just turning on people. And for me personally, yeah, I think it's fickle. You know, everyone's clapping for you when you're at the top. Everyone's clapping for you. Yes, Rashford, MB, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. Rightfully so. But as soon as shit hits the fan, as soon as things get tough, mans are turning, mans are dipping. None of you, man, were saying that prior to the season. Some people were, and fair play to you, being consistent, but not to this extent. There was no way near this much smoke on Rashford's ass coming into the season. People were talking about his stats. People put that picture of him and Mbappe when he's touching his head, etc., etc. And you, man, have turned on one of our own like that. Of a blink of an eye. I know why. It doesn't say a lot about Rashford, but it says a lot about you and your character. You're absolutely fickle. You're embarrassing. You can turn on one of your own just because they're going through a rough patch. And yeah, he's had a poor season. That's football. You're not always going to have it your own way, man. He's gone through so much pre-season, recovering from injuries, COVID, new manager. Bro, the guy's had it all, man. You know, he's got off-field stuff going on with his missus. You know, everything. He's a young lad with a weight of the world on his shoulders. Everything, abuse every day on Twitter. You guys are embarrassing. One of our own, bro. Like I said, clap when people are at the top. That's fine. But when they're at the bottom, that's when your true colours show. When they can offer you nothing, that's when your true colours show. Not when they're at the top. You can support people at the top all you want. But when they're at the bottom, you got to stick by your people. And Rashford is one of my own. So I'm going to stick by him. I've criticised the shit out of him. And I will continue to criticise him. But guess what? I'll not give up on the guy because he doesn't deserve for us to give up on him. He's having his worst. This is his worst patch as a player. This is the first time in his career that he's genuinely struggling statistically. I mean, he's struggled with performances before, but this is the first time for me. And at the end of the day, listen, it is what it is. Everyone's entitled to your opinion. People will say I'm making excuses. I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you he has to improve. I'm telling you he needs to do better. And I'm telling you his attitude needs to improve as well. But guess what? I'm also telling you that you got to stick with your own to the darkest of fucking days. Because guess what? The sun will shine once again. And my young king will be back. And I swear to God, when he's back, when he's smiling on the pitch, I'm going to absolutely love it. Because I love the guy for what he's done off the pitch. And again, people will say, oh, Span, that's sentiment. It's not about sentiment. It's about understanding that one of your own, when they're struggling, you back it. People are booing him at Old Trafford. One of our own getting booed at Old Trafford. Are you absolutely serious? The guy sacrificed the entirety of last season and his own well-being to play for the club, bro. Through the pain barrier, week in, week out. He had 2 injuries, not 1 injury, 2. Bro, and people are booing him on his first bad patch as a Man United player. For me, I would never do that to one of my own. And I think it's absolutely spiteful, fickle, and it's classless from the Man United fan base. Not for the first time, many a time, criticize him, Don't boo him. Embarrassing. Don't give him abuse. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Grow up and fucking stick by your own. The eye of the storm. That guy's in the eye of the storm. 24-year-old with the weight of the fucking world on his shoulders. But guess what? He's going to come through it. He's going to come through the tunnel. And I swear to God, when he comes through that tunnel, don't you fucking come back and start clapping him. Because guess what? I've seen people's true colours. Mans have turned on him in a blink of an eye. But guess what? Our boy Rashi, he's going to come through and he's going to come good, yeah? He's going to come good. Have faith in the guy. At the moment, lowest of the low, but without a shadow of a doubt, man, my guy, yeah, listen, he's done so much for the club in the last 2 years, man. He's carried us when nobody else was carrying us. Him and Bruno in particular last season, man, involved SC, as Jerry would say. But, you know, that's just my personal opinion on the Rashford thing. Does he need to start on the bench? Absolutely. Does he need to be criticised? Without a shadow of a doubt. But don't kick him, man, when he's down. Don't kick him when he's down. Don't boo him. Have some self-respect. Absolutely. Embarrassing fan base. Imagine you're booing one of your own, man. Bro, that upset me, man. I don't know how he feels. I know he was shocking. He was absolutely terrible that game. No denying it, but that's just inexcusable. Like, honestly, it really upset me. I'm not gonna lie. Not to the, like I was emotional about it, but it upset me because it's like, bro, man, this Rashford thing is just teaching you so much about life, man. People do not give a shit. They will turn on you like that. It's like when Real Madrid booed Casillas. I'm not saying Rashford's done anything remotely close to what Casillas has achieved in the game, but it makes you realize, like, people don't give a shit. If you're not helping them win, in terms of in life in general, they don't give a shit about you. They will throw you under that bus quickly. They don't care. They do not care about you. Unless you're helping them, they don't care. Rashford's no longer helping the team. Obviously, he needs to be on the bench. No denying that. People have just... I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Arm around the shoulder. Listen, you can come good, man. Have patience. He needs the support of the fans. And that's the most damning thing. The fans have done the opposite. And they've booed him in our own backyard, man. I can't believe it. I actually couldn't believe that they booed one of our own in our own backyard. I never thought our fans had such little class. But I guess I was wrong. And I should have known better. I should have known better. Because our fans have been absolutely embarrassing on Twitter, on social media in general. Absolutely pathetic. And there's just been issues. It's so toxic in the fan base. And that, for me, just epitomizes everything wrong with the fan base. Booing one of your own in the darkest fucking moments. I mean, just do me a favor, man. Just do me a favor. Don't clap when we're actually doing something. Honest to God, absolutely pathetic. He needs an arm around the shoulder. Absolutely. Don't boo. Give him a fortnight off. Let him relax and let's see where he's at. Absolutely. Give him some time away from the game. I definitely think he needs to just take his mind off it because he's got a lot going on. I reckon that everything has hit home with him. All that at the same time needs to get his head down and graft hard. Absolutely. Definitely needs to improve. Darren in the building. Shout out to you, Darren. Big up my bro. Preach Usman. No preseason, recovering from injury, different mind in a different system, give him time. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I mean, people don't want to give everyone time. Look, at the end of the day, I understand with Manchester United, it's very hostile environment. You know, everything is very doom and gloom at the moment. And I get that. I understand why people are frustrated. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying don't criticize him because he definitely deserves criticism. But I'm saying just relax, man. Just cut him some slack because at the end of the day, you know, he's done enough for Manchester United. He deserves a bit of a leeway, man. He's done enough in the last 2 years. I mean, he scored that 40-plus goals in 2 seasons. And the first time he's having a bad period, of people are just turning on him like absolute dogs. And that's just not right for me personally. But anyways, let's move away from Marcus Rashford. I'm sure it will be mentioned at some point during the show. I feel that he would thrive in a 4-3-3. Potentially. I just think for Rashford, it's a confidence thing. I think his confidence is rock bottom. And that is a massive issue for me at the moment. So, you know, time will tell. Of course, you know, people will have their opinions on him. And quite frankly, that's completely fine. Everyone deserves criticism at the end of the day. The players have not been good enough. And, you know, they got to be held accountable, which is the one word I've said consistently, accountability. And that leads me nicely to our next topic, Cristiano Ronaldo's comments about the dressing room, Cristiano Ronaldo's comments about Manchester United in general. And for me, this is why I wanted him to come to Manchester United. I know a lot of people are still off the notion that Cristiano Ronaldo is the problem. Well, happily, we won, firstly. But secondly, I know the happy thing is people can't really use that as an excuse now because Cristiano Ronaldo did not play on Monday. And we were absolutely shit, as we have been prior to his arrival. I don't know why people thought prior to Ronaldo's arrival that we played good football. I don't know where that myth has come from, but that myth has definitely been debunked on Monday because we played against Aston Villa at our team. No Ronaldo in the team. Apparently he was injured, whatever it may be. Cavani's up top. Bruno's there. We're back to the 4-2-3-1 like old days. And we were absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking for me. And Ronaldo isn't to blame. Who are you going to blame now? Who are people going to blame for Monday's performance? Because you can't blame Ronaldo. You can't blame Pogba. You can't blame Martial. You know, those players that are lazy. You can't blame any of them because they're not on the pitch. And this is the issue. People are scapegoating people. And I hate it. I absolutely can't stand it. And for me, you got to look at it as a collective issue. The players at the moment are not singing from the same hymn sheet. You know, you can sit here and, you know, point at individual players, but it's a collective issue on Manchester United. You know, there's no cohesiveness on the pitch. It doesn't look like the players even know each other. That was an issue under Ali, and it's still an issue under Ranić, and it's something that, for me personally, is disappointing that it hasn't improved. But to come to Ronaldo's comments, you know, his comments about his mentality in general. Big up Nippon in the chat. Thank you, my brother, for always showing support. I appreciate you, and obviously thank you for tagging me on Twitter, as you always do, man. You're absolute legend. I really do appreciate that. But coming back to the Ronaldo stuff, his comments regarding Manchester United should be winning the title. Manchester United should be never below third, first, second, third. And people were like, oh, look at him celebrating third. Just shut up, man. Honestly, just stop trying to nitpick. The guy came out and stuck it on people, you know, saying when I was 18 and I came to the club, you know, when people wanted my help, you know, and people wanted to, you know, talk about footballing matters, I listened. Basically implying that maybe it's referring to Greenwood, I don't know, but implying that people are not listening. Who in that dressing room can turn around to Ronaldo and say, I ain't taking advice from you? I can't believe that's even happening. I can't believe how stupid and immature our dressing room is. I mean, you got a serial winner here that's won absolutely everything in the game, will go down in history and one of the greatest ever players to brace the game. Let's grace the game, even not brace the game, grace the game. One of the players that will go down in history, his name will be mentioned for years to come when we're all gone. Ronaldo, you know, Ronaldo's name will still be there. And that is the brunt of it. At the end of the day, this guy is big. This guy's massive. This guy's one of the biggest people in football. And we're so lucky to have him at a club. We're so lucky for Ronaldo to come and potentially change our ways. Okay, granted, he may be at fault for certain issues. You know, sometimes we might not play as fluid with him in the team. But guess what? He brings so much, you know, it brings so much elite mentality to the team. Something we have been missing for the longest of time. And we got players crying. We got people moaning. We got fans complaining. Oh, Ronaldo's too hard on the players. Ronaldo's upset in the dressing room. Good. He's upset in the dressing room. Because guess what? The dressing room have won shit. We have won nothing. So what's this notion that he can't come and upset the dressing room and try to call players out for the bullshit? At the end of the day, like, what do you expect from him? To come in and high-five everybody because we're sat in fucking 6th or 7th or whatever it is at the moment. Why would he be happy? Why should he be happy? Why are the fans accepting that? Why should he accept that? Why should he accept that this is good enough for Manchester United Football Club? There's so many questions I would love to ask the players. Why are we so shit? Would be one of them. But secondly, why is the mentality so low constantly? Why is the bar so low? Why are we accepting second? Why are we accepting coming to semi-finals without the sheer desire to try and do one better and go all the way and actually win a trophy? Why are you not hurting at the fans? Ronaldo's come in and asked them all these questions, and these mans can't hack it because guess what? The truth fucking hurts, mate. Some of these aren't good enough to wear the shirt. But I'll tell you what, Cristiano Ronaldo is. He's one of the few players in that dressing room that's been there, done that, and he's got the t-shirt. At the end of the day, you gotta listen to him. It's as simple as that. People questioning his mentality and other matters is poor for me. And at the end of the day, you know, people will say Ronaldo's an issue. Ronaldo's a problem. I can't believe people are still coming with that rhetoric that Ronaldo is a problem at Manchester United. Ronaldo has been a blessing in disguise, and I've said it time and time again. Ronaldo's been an absolute blessing in disguise because he has called out the bullshit. He is weeding out the weak. Maguire, if you have an issue with Ronaldo, dip. Get the fuck out of here. Because guess what? None of you, half of us don't want you here anyways. The fact that you're the captain makes me absolutely sick. Absolutely embarrassing. Look, at the end of the day, you know, people will say what they want to say and you're entitled to opinions. But what my thoughts on the matter are Ronaldo's comments, absolute breath of fresh air. I want to see players that we should be winning the league. I want to see players that we should be winning trophies. That is Manchester United. Not skirting around this BS, oh, we could take part, blah, blah. Listen, man's come here and said, I want to win trophies. Simple as, bottom line. None of this bullshit about anything else. That's what Man United should be about. And for me, okay, granted, people will say, you know, he's 36, 37. Why are we relying on him? At the end of the day, he's coming in and he's trying to change the direction of the club. The Glazers can't say shit to him. You know, they had yes men as managers. They can dictate what they can say. They can control what they can say. They can't control Ronaldo. Ronaldo is bigger than the Glazers. Simple as, he's a club legend. He's too big. They thought bringing Ronaldo back was going to bring in the money. They didn't foresee that Ronaldo is going to call them out on their absolute BS in terms of the lowering of the standards of this football club. And he's probably surprised at how low the standards of the club are. And for me personally, I absolutely love it. Burn the fucking club down and start again. Because as it currently stands, majority of the players don't seem like they've got the mentality to be at a club on Man United stature. They haven't got it. They haven't got it in here. Mental. They ain't got it. They haven't got it. They don't want it bad enough. They don't want it bad enough. Man's are complaining about working hard. Man's are complaining about extra sessions. Bro, if you wanted it bad enough, you'd be fucking dying for those extra sessions. You'd be saying, we need to redeem ourselves. None of this tweeting bounce back FC. Actually putting in the hard yards. Where's the cheap? Talk is cheap. I want to see it on the pitch. I want to see people putting in the work, the bare minimum. Movement off the ball, running, tenacity, intensity, desire to win the ball back. I don't see it enough from a week in, week out. So this notion that the players want to bounce back is a complete myth because your actions are suggesting otherwise. You don't care. You don't want it enough. So for me, Ronaldo, I salute you. I salute you wholeheartedly. My GOAT, my leader, and my captain. He should be captain without a shadow of a doubt. I have said in the past, David De Gea should get it, but completely ignore that statement because I think Ronaldo has come in and he's put it on players, and that's what you want from a captain. You want a captain to put it on players and make sure they're held accountable for the poor performances, the lack of hunger and lack of hard work. Whoever it may be, it could be Pogba, it could be Bruno, it could be Luke Shaw, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka. I don't care. Every single player is accountable for the mess that is Manchester United Football Club, and I absolutely love that Ronaldo is coming out and calling them out on it. So for me, personally, give him the armband. I don't want to see Maguire play, but if he's playing, there's no way he should be captain for me. It's very difficult for a manager to come in and change the captain mid-season. I understand that and I appreciate it, but I don't think Maguire should start, let alone have the armband. So I would bench the guy. I don't care how much you paid for him. It is what it is. Cut your losses, wherever it may be. But Ronaldo, absolutely fantastic comments. You know, that's a leader. That's a captain. That is someone that I'm going to look up to and be inspired by. So for me, give him the armband, high five him, is what it is. Rest of the players, including him as well to an extent, step the fuck up or piss off. Simple as that. If you're not going to do it, just dip. If you're not got the mentality, you ain't fit to wear the shirt. So for me, it is what it is. But listen, before Ronnie, United finished third and second. After Ronnie's arrival, to be just, I'm assuming that's going to say to be confirmed. I don't know. To be discussed, maybe. I don't know what TBD means, actually. But yeah, look, that's a fair point. We did finish second last season, and we did finish third. So, of course, people will say Ronaldo's the problem, etc., etc. And I understand that. I understand where people are coming from. But for me, I'm looking at the bigger picture. At the end of the day, he's doing a lot of work that will benefit us in the long run. To be declared. Okay, thank you. He's doing a lot of work that will benefit us in the long run, i.e. weeding out the weak, and hopefully putting it on the Glazers, because at the end of the day, the Glazers have allowed the standards of this club to drop significantly because they don't give a two shits, to be quite fairly honest with you. So for me, I have no problems with Cristiano Ronaldo doing what he's doing. So happy days. Hopefully long may it continue, and hopefully may continue to call the players out. Give him the armband. I would have given him as soon as he signed it, and I'd take it off Maguire as quick as I possibly can. But listen, last topic, Aston Villa game. As I mentioned at the start of the show, our performance against Villa in the cup was absolutely shambolic. Some of that is down to Ranić. I wasn't happy with the lack of substitutions on Ranić. That was quite alarming, to be honest. Actually, you know, the substitution came very late into that game. You know, he left Rashford on practically for the entirety of the game. Alanga came on and actually did more than Rashford did in the entire game within that 5-minute cameo. Donny van de Beek came on in the 70th minute. a player that came on and changed the game for me personally. I suppose that was a system change. Ranić did refer to that. Pardon me. Ranić did refer to Rashford coming on. Not Rashford, sorry, Van der Beek coming on and making a difference. He did say that the diamond was more beneficial for the team. But for me, it's an absolute no-brainer, man. Van der Beek obviously coming back into the team. Of course, McTominay and Luke Shaw are both suspended for this game. Ranić did say in the press conference that Maguire, Phil Jones, Ronaldo, and I can't remember what the other player was actually, Sancho, are all available for this game. So obviously that is some positive news going into this game. But what I will say is that it's important that he selects the right players, and I don't think he's going to select the right players. That is my biggest issue. We're away to Aston Villa, who just signed Philip Coutinho and Digne, so they're going to be a team on the up. Off the back of their performance against us, they're going to feel that they got robbed, which they did, to be honest. And they're going to want to win the game. They're going to have every hope and every ambition to get the 3 points on this, tomorrow's game, and within good reason, because at the end of the day, they showed more than enough to beat us, and they should have beaten us, to be quite honest with you. If it wasn't for 2 VAR decisions that benefit us, granted they were the right decisions in my personal opinion, but nevertheless, we literally got through that with the skin of our teeth. And Aston Villa are going to go into this game with a lot of confidence, whilst us, we're going to go into this game with a lot of question marks on how we could combat the way Villa played, how can we change the fortunes, because that was nowhere near good enough on the Monday, and that's something that we need to really fix and resolve very quickly, because a similar performance is only going to suggest one thing, which is an Aston Villa win, and we need this win desperately. We're already off the pace as it currently stands. We need to start picking up points, and we need to actually put in a good performance. Villa are a massive club, as Joe is saying in the chat, but in general, Villa are doing fantastic with the recruitment. Gerrard's doing a good job there as well, to be fair to him. As we saw on Monday, they were a better team, as I've already said previously. For me, Ranić, completely perplexing tactics, to be honest. The first 20 minutes, I thought we started fairly well, and of course, we did get the goal, courtesy of a McFred combination. Brilliant cross from Fred, great header from McTominay. Mings is always going to be an issue, so I would like to see Ronaldo potentially, put himself on Mings, because he's more than capable of beating that guy. That guy lets his man run too many times. He's a bit of a shit defender, to be quite frankly honest. But middle of the park, that is the issue. We got overrun time and time again on the Monday game. 3v2. Like I said, Ranić eventually made the substitution. For me, it was way too late, but he made the change, which brought Bruno into the false 9 position, and also brought Van der Beek in the midfield to solidify, and it absolutely did that. Made no mistake about it. So for me, Van der Beek has to start this game. I think someone has to put the team in the United way. So this is United way's team. He's gone De Gea, Delot, Varane, Jones, Telles, Donny, Fred, Bruno, Ronaldo, Sancho. I mean, I actually agree with that team completely, so I'm just going to leave it on screen. This is the team that I'm going for. The only change potentially might be I might take Jones out for Lindelof. I know Lindelof was a bit shaky, but he has come back from a lengthy injury to an extent. So I would bring Lindelof in, because he's got that ability in terms of his passing range. He's just more comfortable on the ball, but I'm not opposed to Phil Jones playing. As long as Harry Maguire doesn't play, I don't want to see Harry Maguire playing, especially if they play with a similar system with, Danny Ings and Watkins up top. They're going to cause Harry Maguire a lot of problems with their pace, their agility, their low sense of gravity, etc., etc. So that's something that would concern me going into this game. I don't really want to see Maguire up against any of them two individually. And a lot of the times they were in 1v1s against Varane and Lindelof. So Maguire in that scenario is going to be curtains for Manchester United. And I just don't want to see him in that situation. Plus, he's just come back from injury as well. So I do not want to see Maguire starting at all. I'm going to be disappointed for seeing Maguire starting. In terms of middle of the park, as the United way have said there, Fred and Donny should start for me. But I think it's going to be Matic and Fred, which is a huge L. I think that's a massive mistake. I don't want to see Matic in this game. You saw with the way they played on Monday, the middle of the field, they were very tenacious. They're very quick across the ground. Ramsey in particular was picking up a lot of good spaces in the number 10. There was a couple of occasions where he spun, and if his pass was a bit better, he would have played play the player in, but his pass let him down on numerous occasions. So Ramsey, off the back of that performance, pardon me, off the back of that performance, is someone that we need to keep a close eye on. So I would go Fred and Donny, but again, that's not going to happen. I think it's going to go Matic and Fred. It probably will go Greenwood on the right, Sancho on the left, Ronaldo up top. I mean, that does make sense, and I'm not opposed to that. I think it's important that Marcus Rashford does not play this game because I don't think he warrants to start for starters. But like I said earlier, he needs to come on the limelight. Would you start Phil Jones? I would start Phil Jones over Maguire, but I would personally start Lindelof if he's fit. I haven't fully checked. Shout out to you, Nip, and thank you very much for that. Bruno cannot play as an 8. Just stick with the 4-2-3-1. I'd go Fred, Van de Beek in the double pivot, and Bruno in the 10. That's what I would personally do. Well, I actually put their hands in the pocket. Yeah, they do. Do Villa have a better midfield? As it currently stands, they do. I mean, McGinn is someone who's massively underrated, so I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves, to be honest. He's a workhorse. He's a manager's dream, really, McGinn is. Ramsey, a good young prospect. He's starting to do really well, but Coutinho is going to be a massive issue. Whether he starts or he comes off the bench, of course, he is match fit. He's been playing for Barca. Whether he starts or he comes off the bench, Coutinho is a massive concern for me because, to be quite frank honest with you, I would not be surprised if he cuts in and puts one in the top corner. Honestly, it won't surprise me at all. And he's someone that is a match winner. He's got the capabilities of scoring from anywhere on the pitch. Of course, Villa, they were kind of missing that extra bit of quality. Buendia had very good moments against us, but overall, he doesn't have the same quality that Coutinho possesses on his day. So that's a massive scout for them, and that's a massive positive for them going into this game. So for that reason, I'm not confident going into this game. Just get your score prediction in, people. For me personally, it's difficult. It's difficult to predict us to win because everything suggests that we won't win this game. However, I'm going to say we scrape a victory. I mean, this is just me being biased. I'm not going to lie to you guys because my heart is probably saying a 1-1. Sorry, my head is saying a 1-1. Sorry, my heart is saying a 2-1 Manchester United. I think we just have enough quality. Hopefully, the performance improves because that performance really, really warrants us to lose, to be quite honest with you, but we scraped it. To be honest, I don't really care how we play because I just want us to get the points. We need the points desperately, and as it currently stands, we are struggling for points, but in general, we are struggling for performances. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I want us to play X, Y, Z, because I just don't expect it, to be honest. So I'm going to say 2-1 Manchester United, get the 3 points, get out there, and just hopefully get to the Brentford game intact with a couple of players coming back from injury, and we can go again and potentially put in a better performance against them. Although they're still a good team, but we've got more of a threshold of beating them than we have got Aston Villa at the moment. But listen, that is the end of the show. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it. If you are watching on repeat, the United way saying United 2-0 win, I can see Sancho causing the problem. Hopefully, you're right. Hopefully, you were right. Do you feel that Stevie will do well at Garrett? I don't know who that is. Unless that's Gerrard, then absolutely not. You can fucking do one. I would never take Gerrard at Carrington. But I'm going to wrap it there. Shout out to Joe White for obviously being in the chat. Shout out to United Way. Shout out to Nippon. And shout out to anyone else that I've missed out. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate the support. As always, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. As I said, make sure you follow me on my socials. Usman Talks United on Twitter and Usman Talks United on TikTok, which is where I'll start to upload more. And it's actually where I'm going to do the match reactions from now on. So if you do want to see my match reactions after each game, you will find out on TikTok. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Trying to grow that platform as well. So if you haven't already, please do follow me on there. Just past 200 actually already, which is a massive achievement to an extent. But listen, thank you for the support. I'll be back very shortly. I'm trying not to cough because mine is struggling. But thank you as always, and a shout out to the man there.